Tonight, America just witnessed something we were never supposed to see. Federal ICE tanks, yes, tanks, just rolled straight through Los Angeles to wipe out a secret migrant slum that local leaders swore didn't even exist. Now, streets are silent. The camps, gone. The so-called activists, nowhere in sight. But the biggest shock, the very same Democrat leaders who covered up these illegal camps just got caught red-handed calling for Americans to get shot if they dare stand with ICE. Now, President Trump promised real border security, didn't he? He promised real law and order and a safe America for your kids, for your business, for your neighborhood. And he just delivered with armored trucks, federal agents, and zero apologies. But today, the meltdown from the left is just so unhinged. Guys, you're not going to believe how far they're pushing these desperate mobs to fight back. So stick around, guys, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you guys who ordered the tanks in, how this secret slum survived for years, how radicals are now bragging about open violence, and why Democrat insiders are terrified this ghost town is just the beginning. So don't blink, do not scroll, and whatever you do, do not trust the mainstream media spin, all right? Because you're going to see exactly who's really fighting for this country and who is willing to see it burn just to keep power. If you guys appreciate the daily news updates, tap the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this did not happen overnight. President Trump didn't just wake up and roll some tanks in Los Angeles for show. This was the promise he made, and now it's the promise that he's keeping, all right? So this is a new era. This is one where law and order meets what it says. And this mission in LA, this is exactly what Trump vowed he was going to do. Defend legal migrants or legal immigrants who came here the right way, protect American citizens who work hard, who pay taxes and deserve safe streets, and shut down lawless enclaves that local leaders ignored for years while everyday Americans were paying the price. So here is the truth they don't want you to see on CNN tonight, okay? MacArthur Park, just miles from downtown LA, has been an open secret for years. The hidden slum packed with illegal migrant encampments, crime, human trafficking networks, and God knows what else was going on under those tents. Local leaders, they were looking the other way. They pocketed the votes and the photo ops while, honest residents were dodging the needles, the gangs, the cartel influence right in their own freaking neighborhoods. So this week, under President Donald Trump's direct order, ICE and Border Patrol hit the ground hard. Tanks, armored trucks, mounted officers, tactical teams sweeping street by street, not to terrorize law-abiding people, but to drag out this secret slum into the light and wipe it off the map. So guess what? This was only the beginning, because what happened next made the so-called activists vanish overnight. And it exposed exactly why Democrat leaders are desperate. They are desperate enough to scream, "Get shot," in public. Now, every day, not a day goes by, I get emails from people asking me, "Ron, do you really trust them?" Yes. And this is exactly why I put my name beside theirs. I will never attach my name to something that I wouldn't trust for my own parents. Ed, 84 years old, said, "Ron and Chapter helped save me $684 a year. On a fixed income, that's everything." And Buck, I really love what Buck said. He said, $166 a month back. That is a sweet raise. When Social Security is all you have, every penny counts. Wow. Guys, this is why I stand with Chapter. So you're not alone. So you're not overpaying anymore. And it's totally free. So give our friends at Chapter a call and find out for yourself. Phone number is down below, 909-563-8279, or hit them up on their website at askchapter.org/Ron. Let them do for you what they did for Ed and for Buck, okay? All right, so when people say tanks on American streets, the left wants you to panic. They want you to believe that it's martial law. But here's what really happened, okay? President Trump's team made sure every ICE officer and Border Patrol agent went in fully prepared because they had to. Why? Because just days ago, radical mobs were physically assaulting these same agents, throwing rocks, spitting, filming their families, leaking their home addresses, all while calling them Nazis. So this time, the agents rolled in a little bit different. They rolled in armored up, tanks, tactical trucks, mounted horse patrols, heavy vests. This wasn't to intimidate families. This was to protect them, because these neighborhoods have been held hostage by crime rings and cartels that hide behind innocent people. And you know what, guys? The operation was surgical. No mass violence, no chaos, just a clean sweep that hit the worst camps first, cornered the criminals, and protected the families who live in fear every single night. And the result? Just take a look. The streets that were once crowded with pop-up tents and street gangs and traffickers turned silent overnight. MacArthur Park, it's a ghost town. Side streets are vacant. The so-called community built on illegal encampments vanished. Where's the outrage? Where's the big resistance? It's gone. Because the same mob screaming at ICE last month packed up and fled when the tanks rolled in. So, you know what's left behind? Peace. Locals can walk their streets again at night. Vendors can work without extortion. Parents, they don't have to worry about syringes at the playground. But if you think that the left accepted this clean sweep quietly, well, you haven't seen how fast their leaders showed up with cameras to spin a whole new lie. Mayor Karen Bass, Governor Gavin Newsom, you need to see exactly how desperate they looked when they realized that Trump's not backing down this time. So I want you to picture this, okay? The sweep, it's underway. The tanks are parked, the camps are empty, the streets are silent, and all of a sudden LA's political royalty decides to roll up for their photo op. You've got all the regulars, LA Mayor Karen Bass, caught live on camera, standing up in the middle of MacArthur Park, phone in hand, literally begging officers to stop. She's over here waving her arms, pleading with Trump's ICE commanders to leave immediately. Now, here's what she did not say on camera. She had no legal power to stop it. Why? Because President Trump made it crystal clear. Local politicians cannot block federal law. So, more sanctuary city games. This is all we're seeing here. Games after game. No more empty threats. No more do-nothing photo shoots while American families suffer. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom, he thought he was rolling into LA for another wildfire anniversary brag session. Instead, he got blindsided. The cameras caught him rambling about some optics while neighborhoods cheered that real law enforcement had finally arrived. And you know what people were saying on the ground? They were saying it's about time. Because here's where the story turns from embarrassing to outright dangerous. Because while Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom pretended to play peacemaker, other Democrat voices, elected officials, they were caught ramping up violent talks behind the scenes. You heard that right, guys. A San Diego city councilman literally called ICE agents terrorists and urged locals to fight back. One sitting member of Congress got themselves arrested at Newark Airport for interfering with an ICE operation just to make headlines and fire up the mob. But it gets worse. Axios blew the lid off the private chatter. Top-level Democrat insiders bragging that the grassroots needs to get shot if that's what it takes to stop ICE from doing its job. Now, I want you to think about that, okay? When President Trump is using federal power to make neighborhoods safer, the radical left wing is telling people to take bullets if it helps their political games. So you see the real split here, right? On one side wants order. One side wants safety. One side wants respect for the law. The other side, they're fine with blood on the streets as long as they're keeping the votes flowing. So here's what the media will not repeat because it shatters their entire narrative in one sentence. Attacks on ICE agents are up more than 700% just this year alone. It's 2025 here, guys. Let that sink in. 700%. Just this month in Texas, gunmen in body armor ambushed officers right outside of a detention facility. One brave Alvarado officer literally took a bullet to the neck recently, and still these cowards kept firing. They weren't random drunks with a handgun. They showed up with AK-47s, two-way radios, tactical gear. This was all planned. This was incited. This was the logical result of radical screaming Nazis and get shot into a microphone every chance they get. And so while the left wants you to believe that this is just a protest, the truth is plain and simple. 10 suspects charged, some with attempted murder of federal officers. Families terrified, agents doxxed, children threatened, all while the same politicians stand in front of the cameras pretending that they really care about community safety, which they don't. But here's the part that they hate the most. President Trump and his team knew this day was coming, okay? And they were ready for it. No more sanctuary city loopholes. No more mayors playing hero while families hide inside. Title 8, the federal rule that makes it crystal clear who stays and who goes. This is being enforced like never before. ICE agents are not sweeping entire cities blindly. They're targeted, they're surgical, they're going after the criminals, the cartel assets, and repeat offenders who hide inside these camps. Trump's approach is smart and it's compassionate. Protect legal immigrants who play by the rules, protect honest workers who want a fair shot, protect neighborhoods overrun by open air slums and gangs. And guess what? The local leaders who blocked it for years, they're getting busted. The cover is blown. This is the new normal. The federal government does its job no matter who stands in the way. And so if you think that the mainstream media spin is just going to go ahead and give up quietly, wait until you see what they're saying next. Because these ghost town images, they're so humiliating for them. They're calling it an occupation to hide the fact that for the first time in years, American families finally feel safe again. So what do you do when the streets go quiet? The criminals scatter and the neighborhood finally actually feels safe again for the first time in like years. What do you do? Well, if you're the legacy media, of course you panic. CNN, MSNBC, all of them are screeching the same line. This is a military occupation. Trump's ICE is terrorizing immigrant families. Yeah, sure, guy. Here's the actual truth. The only people terrified right now are the ones who made a living off of the chaos. The paid activists who filmed staged protests for social media likes. Nowhere. The career agitators with their bullhorns. They're silent. The migrant camp photo op, it's gone. Why? Because when real law shows up, the fake resistance runs away. And the footage says it all, guys. The streets used to be they used to be just completely crowded and covered with tents and crime. They're empty now. Protesters, the corners, basically protest corners that once pulsed with the megaphones and all this screaming, they're a ghost town. So now who's left? It's the actual residents, working parents, street vendors, shop owners, finally getting their neighborhood back. Unbelievable, okay? So when you hear the word occupation on cable news tonight, I want you to remember this. This is not foreign soil. This is American soil, cleaned up and protected by American law for American families. And so here's the part that every keyboard warrior wants to forget. ICE agents are not robots in green uniforms. These are moms or dads or veterans or neighbors. They kiss their kids goodbye every morning and every night, not knowing if they're going to come home. And they do it to enforce laws that Congress itself passed. These are real people who are now being hunted online, having their addresses leaked, their families threatened, all because some radical politicians think it's edgy to yell Nazis in front of a camera. But President Trump's White House, they're not backing down. Not one bit. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she stood at the podium just this week and made it crystal clear. We condemn violence of any kind. We stand with our federal agents and their families, and we will prosecute threats to the fullest extent. Because at the end of the day, this is not just about immigration. This is about whether your neighborhood, your street, your family is safe, or whether or not radical politicians get to wage war on federal agents just doing their job. And so, folks, this is the line in the sand President Trump is drawing right now. Okay. The final truth, really, the excuses are over. The hidden slums are gone. The so-called resistance is exposed. What we just witnessed in Los Angeles is not just one raid. This is a warning shot to every crooked local leader who thinks that they can just simply defy federal law and hide behind some feel-good slogans while their cities rot. President Trump said no more sanctuary loopholes. He said no more slum encampments hiding under a fake moral shield. No more ICE officers living in fear. No more everyday Americans forced to flee their own streets. And the best part, this wasn't a reckless sweep. It was smart, it was targeted, and it was done with compassion for the citizens who obey the law. Because when Trump says America first, he means every community, every street corner, every honest family that just wants their kids to be able to walk to school in peace. So, hey, but don't think that the radical wing is done. Of course not. They said it themselves, get shot. They would rather see chaos than watch America actually get cleaned up. They're threatening officers, they're doxing families, they're funding mobs to fight federal agents who are simply enforcing laws that the Democrats wrote years ago. So the real question is very simple here. Whose side are you on? Are you with the politicians who build secret slums and scream get shot when they're exposed? Or are you with the men and women in green who armor up, who clean the streets and hand your neighborhood right back to you? So if you're watching this right now, you already know the answer. This is Trump's America. Law is back, order is back, and the old days of hiding behind excuses are over. So share this video, drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and tell the truth louder than they can lie, okay? And next time they try to rewrite what just happened in Los Angeles, I want you to remind them who made this country safe again, all right? Now, if you're here, stay smart, stay strong, stay ready, Okay? Stay frosty. I'll see you on the next one. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.